So next for us this evening is Dana sorry,
It's a mouthful. It's Witkoski.
Witkoski, thanks. Master of Arts Administration program. And she's going to speak to us tonight on the topic of seeing the bigger picture, how art museums can engage blind and low vision guests.
Have you ever wondered what going to an art museum is like for a blind person? That's what I wanted to find out with my research. I wanted to see how art museums can engage blind and low vision guests in their institutions. And I'll admit, this is a little personal for me. I actually work at an art museum and I coordinate programming there that's intended to be accessible and reach a wide range of audiences. But because our work is so central to what we see in the galleries, blind and low vision, or BLV, guests can often feel left out and isolated from the art museum experience. So, how do you connect somebody with low vision or no vision to a world that is so heavily reliant on eyesight? My research focused on art museums across the United States that were already implementing a lot of these programs. I wanted to find out what works, what doesn't work, and how can they sustain these programs if they were to run out of funding. And what was so interesting about all of this research, even though different resources are at every institution, they all had three very common themes. And they were innovative technology, effective communications, and universal design. And what I also thought was really interesting about these 3 points is that they were some of the biggest strengths of these programs, but they were also some of the biggest pain points. And I think that's really worth mentioning because these programs are so varied at these institutions, and not every art museum has the same resources, right? Like not everyone has a grants department, not everybody has a grants writer. And there are so many resources out there that are just so varied that art museums really, can just kind of struggle to get, because working in a nonprofit, the funding is a little bit tight. But we're going to talk a little bit about those touch points. So innovative technology, and I say more than a touch tour. So we have, 3D printing, which is a really great resource if you want to have 3D renderings of pieces in your collection. But it's more than that, right? It's different senses. So maybe it's an immersive soundscape, or it's an app, or it's something that's a little bit more autonomous that your BLV guests can use. It's also effective communication, so that is more than just branding. It's surveys, it's how you're training your staff to talk to BLV guests. And finally, universal design, which is really just about a universal way of how your infrastructure is accessible and able to be used autonomously by all of your guests. So the biggest takeaway from my research, though, was if you are going to have BLV programming, which you should, you definitely want to have your BLV constituents in the planning sessions. They absolutely are your biggest resource. It does not matter if you have all the money in the world. If you're not working with these constituencies as your partners, you've already done them a disservice, right? And I think that especially right now, when accessibility programs are already at risk, museums have a huge responsibility and opportunity to serve blind and low vision guests. Thank you.